just treating my team like family and letting them know that their numbers don't matter first, their life matters first, their marriage matters first, their family matters first. If I love them well, they will love our clients well.
Yep. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And today, I am so fired up today because this is the first show in 4 months that I'm doing this live with my man, Baby Z. Baby Z's in the house. I got a special guest in the house at Fitness Quest 10, Brandi Binkley. She's here. Brandi, say hello.
Hey, guys.
Yes, this is a live show, and I am so fired up. I feel like it's kind of, quote, normal, whatever normal is. Can I get an amen out there? Folks, you're in for a real treat today. And let me tell you what, we talk about just motivation, inspiration, impact, and getting your mind right. This show is going to do that. So I hope that you're ready to pick up the pace in whatever you're doing right now. And a special shout out to all of you who are listening in. The last 4 months, again, this is the first live show. Been doing it on Zoom and all that. This is the first live show at Fitness Quest 10. So many comments, so many reviews. Thank you. 5-star ratings help us. Reviews help us. So keep it coming. As a matter of fact, the last few days, I had some posts on my Instagram about dreams. And I got a record number of people that were either DMing me or commenting. And I want to share a few of these with you because I think right now it's important that we open our hearts. We come from empathy, compassion, and light. And before we get into today's episode, what do these mean to you? What do these quotes mean to you? If your dreams don't scare you, they're too small. Richard Branson says that. I love that one. Walt Disney says, if you can dream it, you can do it. Anyone else need a bigger dream right now, knowing that you can do it? We can get through this. I've been saying this for months now. We got this. We got this. We got this. Eleanor Roosevelt, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. What's your dream? Now's a great time to go deep inside your mind and deep inside your heart to do that. John Maxwell talks about dreams don't work unless you do. Dreams don't work unless you do. I was just telling my high school athletes who I'm training right now, whether there's going to be a football season or not. Come on now, parents. Let's decide. What are we going to do here? You got to work, regardless of what you can't control. We got to work. Whatever your dream is in life, boys, girls, men, women, grandmas, grandpas, we got to make sure that we continue to work because we will get through this. And perhaps my favorite from James Dean, dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. Dream as if you'll live forever, but live as if you'll die today. James Dean quote. What do they mean to you when we think about dreams? And today we talk about dreams. I want you to dream deep. I want you to dream big. And I want you to think about what do you need to do right now to turn it up a notch, to come to that 212. Because today I have a special guest in the house. Her name is Brandi Binkley. Now, before I get Brandi speaking, I must give you a formal background on Brandi so you hear the amazing Brandi Binkley. She flew in from Nashville, Tennessee. By the way, that's quite a ways to come for the Todd Durkin Impact Show.
It's worth it.
It is worth it because we got some fire breathing dragons listening today. Check this out. Brandi's a veteran in the exercise and wellness industry, having been an exercise physiologist and coach for 17 years. She holds a master's degree in exercise physiology. Brandi left her hometown in Tennessee and enlisted in the Navy and completed her service time assigned to an F-18 flight squadron. She served aboard the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Thank you for your service, by the way, Brandi. Upon completion of her military commitment, Brandi immediately turned to her focus towards her education and soon returned home to Tennessee, where she started her first business in the health and wellness industry. She's been internationally recognized as a health and fitness expert and has been the spotlight for many publications for her vision and forward thinking of the fitness industry. Her first company, Physio Fit, has been called the gold standard training and movement. She opened that in 2012. Brandi has truly embraced her desire for entrepreneurship in the last 6 years, and she started 4 businesses in that time period. Her expertise has been sought after by both business and wellness through speaking, film, education, and print resources. She served as a consultant to many companies, including the U.S. Army. Brandi also devotes her time to the Nashville community, having served as the president of the board for End Slavery Tennessee, an organization that's devoted to rescuing and healing of human trafficking survivors and strategically confront slavery in Tennessee. Brandi also serves on the advisory board for the NSCA, the National Strength and Conditioning Association in Tennessee. She's a member of the C12 Advisory Board, the Stella Group, and the one and only, the Todd Durkin Mastermind Group. She and her husband, Matthew, have 2 children and 2 fur children as well. Without further ado, the one and the only, Brandi Binkley, is in the house at Fitness Quest 10. Brandi, welcome.
Thanks for having me here. It's so good to be live and in person.
Live and in person. First one, all the way from Nashville. By the way, what a background. This is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, like out of all the things that you do now in operating PhysioFit down in Nashville, I know you have quite a remarkable story, and I want everyone to hear her story today, because when we talk about dreams, we talk about resiliency, we talk about just living life to the fullest. You are a woman of impact. You're a woman of impact who is literally motivating, inspiring thousands of people on a regular basis. And for that, I first off say thank you to you and for all that you do, not only for your service for our great country, but also what you do now in Nashville and beyond. Out of all these things, what are you most proud of? Is there any one of these that kind of stand out to you? Because you do a lot, including all the way down to your local community in Nashville.
Most proud of, I would say, I'm going to encompass all of them in 3 words: staying in the fight, or 4 words: staying in the fight. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm proud of, because staying in the fight, you can't do that if you don't stay in the fight. You can't do those things, right? You don't have the resiliency and the guts and the grit to do these things in life if you're not willing to stay in the fight. So I would say early on in life, just starting with the Navy was a pivotal decision for me. It was the second big pivot in my life that changed the trajectory of my life forever. Learning leadership and learning commitment and learning big scope, big picture, long game plans.
Go back for a second. You just said when you entered the Navy. Was that something as a little girl you dreamt of going into the Navy? Was that something that you had an epiphany when you were in college? Like, how did that happen?
It was an epiphany in college. I had actually come to, I left Western Kentucky to go on a missions trip with Campus Crusade for Christ. And the missions trip was in Newport Beach, of all places.
Newport Beach, California.
Yeah.
What a missions trip. I want that missions trip. Not a bad place.
Well, the objective of it was to teach you how to still live your life as a person of faith in the workplace. And so I lived with 50 other college kids from around the country for a whole summer. And when I got back home, I mean, by the way, I'd never traveled outside of Tennessee ever.
So you thought the whole U.S. was like Tennessee?
Yes. Okay. And I didn't realize that there were people who had never heard of Jesus. Like, that was so bewildering to me. Or that it was good for me, too, to learn that there were people of other faiths and how to love and respect that and just embrace everyone, right? And so when I got back to Western Kentucky after the summer project, it was the fall, and I was bored out of my mind.
So you were still in college?
Still in college. I was on our halftime team. I had a great group of girlfriends.
What year were you?
I was sophomore, beginning of sophomore.
Beginning of sophomore or beginning of junior?
Beginning of sophomore year.
Beginning of sophomore year.
Beginning of sophomore year. And I just really believed that God was calling me to do something very different and really just go to places where I could share my love of people and have a bigger impact on the world. And so I, without telling anyone, went to the recruiter's office, and I signed up to go in the Navy.
Wait a second. Guys, I got to hear this story. So you're going into your sophomore year. Mm-hmm. You go to the recruiter's office after spending two, 3 months in Newport, decide God's calling me to go into the Navy. Mm-hmm. And then you go tell mom and dad, I'm not going into my sophomore year, I'm going into the Navy? Mm-hmm. What'd that conversation go? Like, I can't imagine, what they have to say.
I asked my dad about that this morning, actually. I called him and told him what, we were doing today. And he said, well, Brandi, you've been 30 since you were 15. And he said, my parents, by and large, especially my dad, has always said to me, I could have came to him and said, I'm leaving the United States and I'm going to go live in China for a year, not speaking any different language. I could tell him whatever, and he'd say, I believe that you can do it.
I love it.
And I know that you're going to do well
Constant
at it.
support regardless. Unconditional
and
love.
that was my dad. And so he said, okay, I support you. I love you. Good luck. I'm excited for you. And he said, the minute you walk in that command, you make sure you have your orders and a Bible in your hands.
No way. So you go from being a college student to now you're in the Navy. Mm-hmm. And you were in the Navy for
5 years.
5 years. What were a few of the lessons that you learned in the Navy that still apply to you now as a influencer, as a trainer, coach, business owner, entrepreneur of 4 different businesses? If you look back now and you go in there, you were probably, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, I was 18 because I went to college I just turned 17 in college. So
okay.
Yeah.
So what were a few of the lessons, would you say, that you learned from the Navy?
Attention to detail. The number one most important one, because people die if you're not detailed in the military. And it matters to people's lives. So attention to detail. Although some of my friends might debate this, but how to show up on time. And really, it's the corps d'esprit, right? Like it's the teamwork and the camaraderie of having your whole unit around you, and you've got their backs and they've got your backs. It's the teamwork aspect.
Do you miss that now in any way? You spent 5 years in the Navy, or do you take that into what you're doing now at PhysioFit?
Both.
The teamwork, yeah.
Both. I miss it, and I try to include it. It's very difficult to take some of the energy of the teamwork aspect and transfer it immediately to civilians, but it can be done. The culture, right? Building the culture is the most important, and the way I've translated that over is just treating my team like family and letting them know that their numbers don't matter first, their life matters first, their marriage matters first, their family matters first. If I love them well, they will love our clients well.
Yep. Brandi, when we first met, when you were at a Mastermind retreat, I still remember, it was early on when you were in the Mastermind, we were in Carlsbad, California at a retreat, and we had like 50 trainers and coaches on this turf field. And I remember I gave you the microphone, so to speak, for about 5 minutes to PT everybody. And my friends out there, I've never like reacted so obediently to a man or woman barking at my orders. I was like, this girl is all business. Whatever she says, I'm going to do. And I remember repping out PT and push-ups and sit-ups and sprints. And you were whipping people in shape. And I was like, I love this woman. This girl, man. I still remember that. I was like 7-8 years ago.
I remember it too. I remember discovering remember watching you move and going, What are Todd's inefficiencies in movement? And I went, his hips are so tight.
Oh, so you were picking on me.
I was totally picking on you.
You were picking on me. I knew my hips are so tight. I know. I still need work on those hips on that. And we talk about leaving a trail of excellence. Leaving a trail of excellence. I always talk about the attention to detail and leaving excellence and searching for greatness and dreaming big. What does leaving a trail of excellence mean to you?
So can I give credit to the person who taught me that phrase?
Please.
She was a client of mine for a very long time, an artist. Her name's Allison Krauss, and she taught me how to, early on in my career, although she has nothing to do with the fitness world, to just love well. And she always said, leave a trail of excellence. No matter what you do, no matter what you touch, whether it's making something for someone, or it's caring for someone, or it's coaching someone, or it's starting a business, leave a trail of excellence, because you can always be proud of that. And she said, regardless of what happens to what you do and the things you spend your time on, as long as you did it with excellence, you will always be proud of it, regardless of if you fail or not, right? It's not failure to you if you did it in an excellent way.
Yeah. I like that. Fast forward to today. You're at PhysioFit. You're leading your team. Tell us about PhysioFit. How many teammates do you have? What's your membership look like? Has business been challenging the last few months? Is it looking good? Where are you at here as we record this in mid-July 2020? What's PhysioFit looking like these days, and how are you leading?
It looks different every single day.
Yep.
And I lead differently every single day. And so I have to get up and put my hat on of, I call it my nimble hat. That was my word for the year. And where do I need to be nimble today?
That was your, before all this happened, when we did our annual roadmap, nimble was that was your word.
Nimble was my word.
We always theme our year and we try to come up with a word. Mine was a phrase called "Get Your Mind Right." That was my theme for 2020. And boy, oh boy, do I got to get my mind right on a daily basis. Can I get an amen? Anyone listening in? So nimble was your theme. Interesting. Keep going.
It was my theme because we had some interesting things going on in business, and I knew I might have to, pivot quickly.
Interesting.
And so I'd already kind of had my mindset wrapped around that. And so with regard to the business every day, we have 9 full-time team members. We're about half physical therapists, half exercise physiologists, strength coaches. We've got a dietitian on staff, and we network with some pharmacists and physicians. And it's different, right? It's all the time. We were able to stay open a little longer and open a little earlier due to having some medical oversight, which was a blessing.
Yep.
But our team has done such a wonderful job. I mean, all of us have had, our tough spots, right? But we've learned together, and it's interesting because I just hired not first ever. I've been one of an all-male team. So I have all men that work for me. And then I'm just recently hired on another female. And those guys I am so proud of them. I mean, they really they jumped in, they bootstrapped, they got on video calls, they're doing telehealth, they're going to people's houses, they're carrying equipment, whatever it takes.
Amen. Yep.
Whatever it takes to have a job, to take care of our clients.
Serve people. And
that's what we said at the beginning of this is we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but what we do know is that our focus isn't growing the business right now. Our focus is loving and serving well. So it means taking care of yourself so you can take care of your clients. Right before all this happened, such a blessing time-wise, I hired a chaplain for our team. And so we have
a team chaplain.
Yeah, so he
full-time?
Not full-time. He comes in once a week. But everybody has a cell phone number. He's like in-house counsel almost. And you can talk to him anytime. And what's great for the staff for our team is, like, I like to think that if they always know that there's an open door policy in my office.
Yeah.
But the truth is, they're not going to say the stuff to their boss that they might be able to share with someone that they have complete confidentiality with. And this has been the best time ever for us to have had a chaplain.
And are people leaning into it?
Huge.
It's a him?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Greg Watkins.
So people are leaning into Pastor Watkins. Interesting. That is awesome.
And we've even gotten him leaning in too. We've got him, he's got his My Zone.
Yeah.
He's working with some accountability and doing all that.
That's interesting because we've had a gentleman here who's a pastor, Gino Mingo, who's been serving our team on our virtual platform. Because when we create our virtual platform at Fitness Quest 10, Gino and Ryan Rogers have been leading our morning prayers Monday through Friday initially, and then now a few days a week. And Pastor Gino has been serving in that unofficial role. I like that, though. Team chaplain, kind of like an athletic team. Everyone's got the chaplain, regardless of faith, regardless of backgrounds.
Yes.
You've got someone of faith. If you need to pray, if you need to cry, you need to lean on somebody. I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I love that your people are leaning into him.
Yeah, and it's been just a really good journey, to have that extra layer of they know that I care and love about them, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get through this.
What would you say has been the hardest part in the last 3 to 4 months? Has there been a specific example of weathering a storm? I know everything right now is turbulent, but has there been like one particular instance that was like, man, I gotta suck it up?
You're going to choke me up, yes. My coach, my director of training, who is awesome. He's a stoic strength coach. He was a strength coach at Tennessee State University for a long time. Big football guy, and he and his wife had their first child last year, and so he's a new dad. And seeing him with a look of concern that he doesn't, and the unknown, right? That was the toughest for me because the truth is that regardless of whether it's hard or not, I have to steer this ship in the storm. It is on me. Their families' livelihoods are on me. Their children's safety and provision is on me. Ultimately, right? It comes down to us. We have to lead that. And seeing him worry because I know how much he works with intentionality and how much he cares about our team and our people. And then working with our head physical therapist, just having those long conversations about every other day or so. Are we going to shift everybody over in a different payment or a different employment type? Are we going to have to let anyone go? All those things. Now, by the grace of God, we were set up in such a way that our business has not suffered the way that I know a lot of people's have. We've been able to maintain every staff member, but they've earned their keep. I mean, for a while it was like, listen, we're going to eat what we kill here for a little while, right? And then, but we're going to take care of you too. As long as you're putting out that effort, I'm happy to downgrade whatever I need in life to make sure that our team stays together. Because at the end of the day, if I can suck that up somewhere, they can operate well with their clients, right? It's not up to them to do that.
So the trainer, the first trainer you mentioned, that look of concern, what is his name? What's his first name?
Josh.
Josh. What is Josh's look now? Is it still of concern? Is there hope? What's his look now and why?
It's interesting because Josh has he's always been a believer in doing a lot of personal work, which is hard, for a super strong stoic guy. And he has a much lighter step these days. And
Why is that?
I think it's a combination of consistency and what our team gets to hear, right? Making sure, like sometimes we can say too much and then we spread worry and concern. So if we can set a standard of consistent care, and I think he's gotten a lot of consistent care, and I think he feels comfortable coming and talking to me or his other teammates or even our chaplain. And he's seen it work. The proof is in the pudding, right? Yeah.
Well, congrats on your leadership, because I think right now, regardless of the industry, the sector of the industry that you're in, I think leadership right now is the most challenging thing that all of us have to deal with, right? And I even think back here at Fitness Quest 10 over the last 4 months, I think one of the things that has been most difficult for me, the 3 months that we were closed, was not having real live people in front of my face on a regular basis, not having life, not having energy. And now that we're quasi-opened, we're open, right? But a little bit limited, but we are open. And even just this morning, I was training the athletes, and there were clients training, and the music was pumping, and it was just life. It was energy. And the sanctuary was radiating with light and energy. And it's like, man, I miss that. For 3 months, we didn't have that. And I think that was the toughest thing I know personally for me, was not having that life. So I'm extremely grateful for right now that our gym here in California is still open. And if you're a trainer, coach right now at a gym that's not, you got to hold out hope that your gym and studio will be open. If you're a member client at a club, studio, or gym, realize that there are a lot of trainers and life transformers out there right now that truly, genuinely care for you. And that we just got to make sure that we know we are going to get through this time. I think of the leadership, Brandi, that you have been demonstrating. I think of the word resilience. I think of, even when I read your bio, like, man, she's one tough cookie. I think resilience keeps coming up. It's a theme I hear. How are you leading right now with resilience?
I would say right now I'm leading with resilience through just loving my team and being present for them. Sometimes I'm not, and you know this too, because I know it's been a struggle for you too. We're not always able to be physically present, but it's that ability to reach out and know that they have you. But I think too, building the culture of our gym and our team. And, having consistent meetings and having the chaplain there and giving them resources. We just did our first book club together, and it was the Energy Bus.
Yeah, John Gordon. Yeah, Gordon, the Energy Bus.
Yeah, we did the Energy Bus. And everybody kind of read it on their own, but it was the perfect timing for them to do that. So those kinds of things, just loving the heck out of our team.
So you're leading through crisis, and that's one of the things you're doing is, I love, you talk about loving your team, showing them that you care about them. So love and empathy, compassion. Okay. How else are you leading through crisis and showing resilience?
I would say something that keeps coming to mind for me is, because I have to do it daily, is checking my emotions at the door, not checking my heart.
Ooh.
Not checking my heart, but checking my emotions.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is operating out of a different place. I don't want to react. I want to be able to respond. And when people around us, our teams, are living in a little bit of turmoil,
just a little bit,
they need a grounded place to go to, and they need people who are grounded without their emotions on their sleeves. And if they know that they can come into the studio, come to work, and it's going to be right here. You know, the energy doesn't have to be through the roof. What they know is they can expect consistency, and they appreciate that, and they respond to it. And so that goes to loving them well, right? Checking my emotions at the door, not responding by how I feel, but by what I know. And that's huge in leadership in general, right? You can't lead people if you're always responding with your emotions, but you have to respond with your heart, which is the facts. We respond through our heart with the facts, and we leave our emotions and not our feelings, all of our feelings, right? But we leave the things that can cause turmoil for people out.
Let me ask you a question. You seem like a very regimented, matter-of-fact woman.
Yes.
But I also know you have a heart of gold, and you lead by emotion. How do you personally balance out the regimented, Brandi, former Navy, extremely just regimented, and then the woman I also know who's very heart-centric? How do you balance that out right now?
It's not me. It is just being dialed in and aligned with my Creator. I have to do that every single day. No reminder on the phone, no app to tell me to do it. I have to get up and with intention go before God and ask for help. I would love to think that I could, be this, rock star coach and do all these things, but I can't. I can't do any of it by myself. I got to have a great team. Mostly I have to have my relationship with God.
Tell me more about that morning. Is it the morning routine for you? Is it
Yes,
first thing? Tell me
yes.
a little bit more, because
I
think this is a common question we get on the podcast is, hey, tell me about your morning routine. For you as a woman of faith, what does that look like?
It's been the same for 7 years.
Okay.
As soon as I get up, I grab my coffee, of course, and my study materials, whatever I'm using. I keep a prayer journal. I write in that journal so that I can date it. I date the journal or date it when I write the prayer, and then I date it when God answers it. I go back and date it when God answers it. And I spend it used to be 10 minutes when I first got started because I was trying to make myself do it, right? And now, I could sit there. This morning, Brian almost, was missed flight because I got so wrapped up in my prayer time that I just lost track of time. So it could be something as simple as using the Bible app and doing one of the little 3-minute reads, and that's a prompt, right? It's a prompt to go deeper. For me, and I was sharing this with some people yesterday, it's not, it's spending time in the present. So for some people, it's meditation. And to me, meditation is listening.
Amen. Yep.
Right? And so I try, this is going to sound so contrary to what people hear a lot. I don't spend as much time in spoken prayer as I do in trying to listen. God says, you're on earth and I am in heaven, so let your words be few. And so I try to listen. And if I'm dialed into that, and as my other mentor says, connected to the main, which is God, then I'm good to go. I can lead without being emotional, because that's how Jesus led, by fact and love.
So you do that most days of the week?
Every day of the week.
Not Monday through Friday?
That's right. I don't miss a day.
Good for you. 7 years.
7 years. And I'll tell you, in the last year and a half, because sometimes it feels repetitive to people, right? Like we get out of our routine, whatever that morning routine is, because it feels repetitive. But the truth is that the compounding effect of your habit
Preach it.
Creates a massive impact in those times when your life outside of your routine is in turmoil. In the last year and a half has been crazy for me. And so having that has been really a way to ground myself through the last year and a half.
That's great. And thank you for sharing. That's a personal routine of yours that certainly allows you to continue to lead in a way that's divine. What would be maybe one or two other best practices that you do on a regular basis that allow you to operate at your highest level?
I'm going to have to give you some super cred here. I do my WLAGs
every
Sunday.
Okay.
And I've got my team doing them now. So
Great.
I send them to my team.
That's
they send them back. And it's awesome because it just helps us communicate on a better level, right? And this is going to probably sound interesting to people. The other routine is I have a food routine. And I have a dog walking routine. So as soon as I finish my quiet time in the morning, I grab my dog, no earphones, no phone. That's the other thing is I don't turn my phone on and look at anything until 7:00. Nothing is coming in to create head trash. Until I am grounded.
That's my number one rule.
Yes, until I'm grounded. And lately, I say lately, as of January, the last one would be no caffeine after 3:00.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been doing your rules, right?
Yes.
Folks, if you...
That's Dr. Daniel Amen right there.
And you guys, if you read my book, I shared my 13 rules and get your mind right. Number one rule is I don't turn the phone on. And two, I've had this rule for over 5 years, no caffeine after 2:00, because I'm very caffeine sensitive. And if I have some caffeine at 3, 4 o'clock, it affects my sleep. Then the sleep is shot, and then I don't feel good. So the caffeine is a huge one on that. So best practices, again, as a woman of best practices, find your rules, find your best practices that work for you. I think that's a really important thing. And as far as the shout out to be your W legs, again, I share those in my Get Your Mind Right book. But your wins from the last week, your losses from the last week, your aha moments from the last week, and your goals for this upcoming week. Just this morning, as I record this, I had an aha moment. My son Luke was committing to his college for next year. He's a rising senior, and he committed to Davidson College in front of his team. And as he was doing this on air, I actually got teary-eyed, like you were just getting teary-eyed talking about your trainer, because I realized when you have moments of kind of like this epiphany, for me, I realized it was years and years of hard work coming into, and all of a sudden, this kind of highlight moment for him. An aha moment for me would be an aha moment I'll put in this week's W Lags. My aha moment is sometimes it takes years and years of hard work and toil and sacrifice, both in the classroom and lifting and throwing and all these things, in order for you to achieve a goal. I think the idea of delayed gratification right now is a very difficult one, especially for young kids. I mean, when I say young kids, I'm talking youth athletes, high school, college. It's hard. Delayed gratification is a skill that we have to really develop. It's like a muscle. It takes months and months and years to learn delayed gratification on that. And I know you epitomize this, Brandi. I know that, many times people see an accolade, they think it just happens. It takes a lot of hard work to do that. And again, when you talk about W Lags, I think the best leaders I know, to me, W Lags is a form of journaling. And if you share it with your team like you do and that I do, and I've done this for almost a decade now as far as doing that myself, would be it's a form of journaling. I'll spend 20 to 30 minutes on a Sunday doing that and then share it with my team. My entire team, by the way, sees my W Lags. And when they share it with me, I understand where they're at. So it's a form of leadership as well. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's awesome, some of your best practices. And obviously faith is a huge part of it as well. You say something about when it comes to leading through crisis, you talk about something called OODA Loop living. What the heck is OODA Loop living? Can you please talk about that?
Yes. So Colonel Boyd was an Air Force colonel. He is responsible for this this operational. It was an operational concept for combat, but it stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. And I actually didn't become familiar with the OODA Loop until I was out of the military and doing business stuff, business coaching. And it's so good for your teams. There's super complex models you can look at online, and there's super simple models. But observing, whether it's my teammate who is struggling with something, whether it's observing a client who seems unhappy, or a customer who seems really excited, or observing where we are financially, whatever it is, orient myself to what's really going on. So extracting those emotions.
Love it.
Deciding on what I need to do to either avoid a bad situation or potentially fix a situation, and then acting on it. And those things are typically done super fast. Sometimes they're not, right? I've got a mission. I did a mission critical crisis management budget, and then a crisis management operating procedures manual that I've been working on during all of this. That doesn't happen in 3 seconds, right? That is something that I was going, okay, I'm observing everything that's going on in the world. I need to orient myself to the situation, decide what I need to do about it, and act on it. So I'm acting on it.
Yeah. Where do you think most people get tripped up there? And what are those for? Would you say most people, not fit pros, anyone, where do they get tripped up, would you say?
Oh, the first one, observing. They observe from their eyes. They don't observe from their customer's eyes, or they don't observe from in the middle. You say observe from the enemy. What does the enemy want?
Whoa.
What do
Preach
you
now.
right? What do they want? What do people want? What is it here that I'm combating against? What am I trying to stay away from? And so it's in the observation piece. That's why the removal of your surface emotions are so important, and understanding what's fact and what's feeling, right?
Yeah, that's great wisdom. Interesting. I would have said decide, only because I think, and I like the way you say that, observe, because looking at it through their lens instead of your own, because I think people sometimes they see it, but they can't make a decision because they hem and haw way too long on things.
Can I see your coffee cup?
And they make a decision that they don't decide or they don't act on that. So that's an interesting thing there.
I want to use this as an illustration. I'm holding your coffee cup, right? And you know what's on each side because it's your coffee cup.
You can't see it. It's called Get Your Mind Right on that coffee cup. By the way, she's holding a vintage coffee Get Your Mind Right cup. By the way, if you can't see it, this is a podcast. She's holding the black and red Get Your Mind Right coffee mug.
Right.
That's special.
But here's the thing. If I walk in with this...
You feel empowered.
No. Well, definitely feel empowered. Sorry. Yes. Yes, I feel so empowered. You don't know what's in it. I only know what's in it. I only know what it feels like. I only know if it's hot or cold. I only know how full it is. I only know you only know what you see. You can't even see the other side of it.
Yep.
That's the observation piece, right? And our people, whether it's our husbands, wives, children, they don't always understand the full scope of what we're working with. And so it's important to communicate, but also to understand and observe where they're coming from.
I like that. Good analogy. I guess people get caught in any of those, but there you go, my folks. It's OODA Loop living. Observe, orient, decide, and act. And then you also were talking about some equation. You started talking some equation. Tell me what the equation is. How is it going to help our Mind Right Maniacs listening in today?
Okay, I have to give Dave Ramsey credit for this equation.
Yep.
It is FI, which is focus times intensity, divided by T, time. Focus times intensity divided by time, multiplied by God, equals the Momentum Theorem. So this is basically, we got to put in the work. We got to be focused about it. We got to be intense about what we want to accomplish. And we have to give it time. And then let it go. Not let the work go, right? But trust and have faith that what you're working on and what you've been toiling over, like you were talking about for Luke, right? Like he's worked so hard to get here, but he put in the work, and it took time and it took intensity. But now he's got to just trust that it's going to end well.
Yep, and I can hear you guys saying, TD, have her say that again. Have her say that again, because you're walking the dog right now, and the dog right now is pulling because he's fired up right now. I love that, because I love the word momentum, by the way. We all need a little Uncle Mo in our lives. Can I get an amen? Uncle Mo is momentum. It's a sports term. Momentum, Uncle Mo. Focus times intensity. What's your focus? Where's your focus? WTF, right? Trina Gray, what the focus? Times intensity divided by time. How long does it take? Times God, right? You're saying, times a higher power times God equals momentum. I love that. Dave Ramsey, once again, pulling through. Dave Ramsey, thank you once again. Always coming up on the Todd Durkin Impact Show, the Dave Ramsey name. So Ramsey Solutions, Entree Leadership, shout out to you right there as well. Brandi, this is some great stuff. I wanted to ask you in conclusion here, when it comes to impact, this is the Impact Show. What's coming up in your pipeline? You're running 4 businesses now. When you look at your legacy, your vision of where you want to go, is there anything that you're working on now that you're creating? Where's your focus at these days so that you can leave the legacy that you want to leave?
Yes. So when I started PhysioFit 8 years ago, my intention was to create a facility where gifted trainers could come and work and grow and be educated and be poured into and be paid well so that they could stay in the industry. And what it's gotten me to is this point. We're working on, I have a business partner, and we're working on a technology solution that would allow trainers to maximize their arms and legs, right? Their average revenues and their length of engagement with clients. And so that looks like a lot of different things, but it's built into one beautiful opportunity to make more money when you're not working.
Interesting. This is not out yet?
No, we're looking at Q4 this year.
Q4 2020.
Yeah, Q4 this year. We'll be taking beta testers and doing all that. So
y'all better follow Brandi Binkley to find out whatever's in the box. I'm not even sure what it is. You better. She's teasing us all now. Hey, speaking of which, PhysioFit, your biz down in Nashville, lives in the top percentage of revenue per client. Tell me about that. Like, this has been proven. Like, what does that look like? What's the top percentage of revenue? Tell me about it.
Just obviously meaning that out the door, each person, whether you're doing retail, you're doing service industry like us, or you're doing even at a grocery store, the average person comes in has a lifetime value. And so we've basically taken some data from our NPS, which is our Net Promoter Score, which is just basically clients who will promote us. That's where you get your Net Promoter Score. And our average revenue per person. So that person's value is actually exponentially higher if they refer people to us, right?
Sure.
And so we take that and then we do a value on each client. What has happened with us is our business, we serve a bit higher end clientele, which just means that it's kind of barricaded us a little bit from being so impacted during all of this. We're not as impacted when economic things happen. We're not as impacted when legislative or political things happen. And so it's insulated us some. That's what it is. So we have anywhere from an $850 to I looked it up last night when I got back again, an $850 to a $1,050 out the door per person revenue per month.
That's $8.50
$850.
$850 to $1,050?
Yes, and that's for the brick and mortar, and then I have an executive fitness brand, which is $2,000 to $2,400 a month. But those people are on an annual contract. Those clients are typically people who pay to stay off the radar. It's interesting because I asked one of them for a testimony, and I thought for sure she was going to say, it's because you're so smart and you do such great programming and you understand all my. No, she said, we love and trust you because you can keep your mouth shut. So they like to keep privacy.
Sure.
They're not the rock star or the actor or whatever. They're just people who are doing things that make the world a better place.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes the biggest mistake that any business owner or business can make is they focus on always just getting and acquiring new people versus keeping your existing community and tribe happy and serving them well because of word of mouth and the word's going to spread. Because I'll tell you what, the cost of replacing people is very expensive and it's very energy draining, as you all know, if you've been in that position. So now is a great time to take care of your community. As you said, I mean, at $850, let's just call it $1,000 a month average per person on that. If you're taking care of those people and you can retain those people, that's a great profitable business that you're running. So remember, folks, we want to keep taking care of our communities. Whether you run a restaurant, restaurateurs, please hold in there, stay strong, keep serving your people. People, get out there and support your local businesses, your small businesses that right now are nimble. They are acting quick and doing everything they can. So whether it be a training studio, a restaurant, a nail salon, whatever it is, people are really acting right now in some very, very nimble ways. So hang in there as a voice of encouragement to all of you. You're doing an amazing job. Last question, Brandi, impact, legacy. What is the legacy of Brandi Binkley going to be all about when it's all said and done? What's the legacy?
Systemic change in the health and fitness industry.
What is that?
Both
mean?
healthcare and fitness. We're way too far separated. Systemic change to provide actual health care, not sick care.
Yeah.
Hospitals provide sick care, right? They don't take care of healthy people. They only make money if you're sick. So to blend a model that fuses really well thought out intentional medicine clinical practices with movement and nutrition and recovery and all the things that we know, the psychology piece, the happiness piece, all those things together.
Love it. Final words of wisdom. If you had to lay it on the line and you got 30 seconds of any wisdom that you want to share with some mind right maniac right now, they're like, Brandi Binkley, fire us up. And this is the Navy, Brandi, coming at you now on this. So what do you got to leave us with today, Brandi?
This is probably going to sound very military.
All right.
If you build the infrastructure correctly, the parts are interchangeable. If you build the infrastructure correctly, the parts are interchangeable.
Okay.
Whether it's your family, build the infrastructure correctly.
Yep.
You're good anywhere you go, with anything you go through. Your business, your brand, your network.
Yep.
It's all interchangeable.
Okay.
As long as it's built correctly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. There you go. Where can one follow you, find you, if they want to find you on Instagram, website? Where can they best reach you?
Get brandibinkley.com. That's Brandi with an I. Binkley.com, at BFitBoss on Instagram.
BFitBoss.
BFitBoss.
And that's just the letter B or B-E?
Just the letter B.
Letter B.
For Brandi.
BFitBoss on Instagram. Hit her up. Follow her. DM her. Tell her she dropped some amazing bombs today on today's show. So, Brandi, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you're doing with PhysioFit. Thank you for impacting the community. Thank you for all the speaking that you're doing in the industry, now virtually. All of the different philanthropic efforts that you're doing down in Nashville and beyond. So much impact being created. You are certainly a great example to any Fit Pro of how you certainly scale your impact and continue to reach a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank you for starting the Mastermind.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have had some of the opportunities that I've had. So thank you for doing what you're called to do and loving our industry and loving our people and loving everybody so well. You are an incredible gift to all of us.
Thank you, Brandi. Thank you. There you have it, my friends. Another great episode today. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure that you share the good news. Get out there and motivate, inspire people. Take a snapshot of today's cover and then share it on your Instagram. Make sure you connect and tag myself and tag Brandi. Until further ado, remember to train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create some impact, baby. Wow. Oh, wow. Did Brandi Binkley bring the heat or what? That was absolutely awesome. Awesome. A great woman, a great person to emulate and inspire. So, Brandi, huge shout. Don't forget to share that. Hey, guys, if you would like some more fitness talk, you got to check this out. Tomorrow, mark your calendars out. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I've got my third and fourth parts of my 4-part webinar series sponsored by my friends over at California Almonds. It's my manifesto for the fitness industry. And the last 2 segments of this webinar, they're completely free. They're for CEUs. Yes, you get CEUs for free for being on this. And someone is going to win almonds for an entire year to gift away to someone inside their community. Tomorrow's with my great friend Trina Gray. It's all on marketing in a new era, in this digital era. So you're going to want to check that out. And the next day, on Wednesday, that's July the 15th, I got my man Jeff Bristol, GM at Fitness Quest 10. And we're talking about operating a hybrid model in the fitness industry. They're at 12:30 on the West Coast, 3:30 on the East Coast. You're not going to want to miss them. Mark your calendars and sign up. You have to register. And if you register, you get the complete webinar replays as well. How do you sign up? You go over to ToddDurkin.com. ToddDurkin.com. You're going to see it front and center. My 4-part webinar series sponsored by my friends at the California Almond Board. Check it out. Sign up today and join me tomorrow. That's July the 14th, Tuesday, July 14th with Trina Gray, and the next day, Wednesday, July 15th. Folks, get ready to rock and roll. I'll see you tomorrow live on the webinar, baby. Hey guys, Brandi Binkley's been an important part of the Todd Durkin Mastermind family for 6 years now. If you would love to be part of my mastermind, take a listen to all the great information right now. Yoo-hoo! Hey trainers and coaches, I'm talking to you. Super proud to talk to you today about the Todd Durkin Mastermind program. It's a best-in-class business leadership, marketing, training, and personal development program for those seeking maximum success in life. The Mastermind includes 2 live retreats. And let me tell you what, these are game-changing events that you are going to absolutely love, where you could step away and work on your business and work on you. And I'll be leading those bad boys. Monthly coaching calls and webinars, weekly emails from yours truly, a website with all my best products and programs, a private Facebook page with about 200 other fire-breathing dragons, which you can connect with at any time. And these people are the best of the best in the industry. Access to yours truly to coach you, and then some. I love that word, and then some, because I love surprises and I love over-delivering. Hey, the bottom line is your network is your net worth. And if you want to up your game, today is the day. If that's you, I'd love the opportunity to coach you. Hop over to ToddDurkinMastermind.com. That's ToddDurkinMastermind.com, and let me help you create impact today. Y'all know I believe in a little bit of it. And then some. Here's a little and then some discussion that Brandi and I had recently on the TD Mastermind family.
You know, Todd, speaking of pivoting and resiliency, one of the tools I've had in my toolbox to help create that in my life and help me to recognize a pivot or when I need to was a pivot I made early on in my career to join the Mastermind because it was difficult at the time. The studio was brand new. We weren't making a lot of money. And you know, I just was going, how am I to justify the cost? And I thought, you know, I've got to be around people who are not inside this gym with me every single day. Right. Thoroughbreds, right? Surround myself with thoroughbreds who are doing better than me and who are smarter than me and have more experience than me. Like, I need to get in the room with people who have what I want. And making that decision was huge. And what's interesting is every time I've added to it, whether levels of business mentorship, the Mastermind, whatever, I have, at first it was like a 5X of my income, right? But then it became a 10X of my income. Yeah. And everything started kind of just growing from that because you surround yourself with the energy you want of where you want to be.
Attract and that. I think it's important when you recognize that too, to keep your mind creating and in creative mode, especially like right now. It's so important to stay in create mode. Is that if you're stuck, you're going backwards. If you're staying the same, you're going backwards. We can't afford to stay the same. There's nothing worse than just kind of being in limbo on that stuff. So one of the things, obviously, we've always pride ourselves in with the Mastermind. The Mastermind is not about me. It's about the collective number of people who are in that and on your team. Although while I may lead it with the other coaches and members, it's one of how can we push each other up? How can we help each other up and raise up right now at this ever important time? So what would you say as far as your mindset? Like, let's say you were struggling at that time and money, it's a real thing. Like, man, I want to be part of that, but I don't know how I can afford it. What was the turning factor? Say, you know what, I'm going to invest in it and give it a shot and see. What was that?
For me, it was very black and white. I always equate money to something if it's $100 here, that could be, that's your telephone bill or whatever.
Practical.
For me, it was, okay, what are some things in my life that I don't have to have? Because I want my business to work. My business has to work. I need that. And so I just cut back on some stuff. It was going out with friends every other weekend. And, you do that 2 or 3 times a month. There's your Mastermind fees.
Yeah. And I would say sacrifice. Sometimes you sacrifice for 1 or 2 years, and all of a sudden you take a big leap forward on that. And next you're like, wow, I'm at a different level. And I think any growth-minded person, and I know that's the mindset inside the Mastermind group, 7 years later now, since even Physio Fit, has been in around 8 years now. What would you say? What keeps you in the Mastermind after 6 years?
My team. To be, while you were talking, it kind of came to mind about where we've all been over the last few months with all the changes in the pandemic and everything, and seeing us grow, get through this together, grow personally, and manage the movement well together has been invaluable to all of us. I talk to my Mastermind teammates various times throughout the week, every week. I mean, we're like family. We're like family. Yeah, sure. And that in itself has been a big support system because nobody else knows what it's like to be an owner.
Yep. What would you say to a trainer, a coach,
a leader or even a owner of a facility right now is in regards to the Mastermind? Why would they? Why should they strongly consider being a part of the Mastermind family?
Because if they love their business, it is mission critical. It is absolutely mission critical to survive.